Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little bear with a heart. For this tutorial you're going to need plush yarn in two different colors, one for the body and one for the heart. I'm going to be working this with a 5.5mm crochet hook. In addition to this you're going to need a pair of scissors, stitch marker, darning needle, 10 to 12mm security eyes, black yarn for the eye details, and a plastic nose. If not, then you are going to need some black yarn for the nose as well, and some fiber fill. So make sure you've got all of those components. Now before we start, if you enjoy watching my tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. We're going to start off by working a slip knot using whatever method you prefer. Slip your hook inside and chain 2. This method here is an alternative to magic ring, but if you prefer working with magic ring, then skip all of these things and work round 1 straight into your magic ring. But for this method, you're going to skip the first chain, slip your hook in the second chain from your hook, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's my first single crochet. We're going to be working 6 single crochets all in that same chain stitch. Here's my third one, 4th, 5th, and my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And we are going to now start working in a spiral. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round to start round 2. And there's my first single crochet of round 2 in there. Going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. Now when you work 2 single crochets in the same stitch, it's called an increase. We're going to be working 6 increases in this round. Here's my second increase, third increase, fourth increase, 5th, and increase number 6. Once you have your 6 increases, stitch count should be 12. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. I'm going to start using a stitch marker from here on to identify the start of my round and to have an accurate stitch count. If you don't have one of these, you can use a scrap bit of yarn, paper clip, or a safety pin, or anything to identify this. Follow this single crochet on with an increase. And here's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around until you get to this point here. Go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. We're going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. I'm going to follow this on with an increase. And follow that on with a single crochet. Now that's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase, and then a single crochet again. Single crochet, increase, single crochet. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. That's my first, second, and third. And we're going to follow these 3 single crochets on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with an increase. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 30. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker in place. And follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 30 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method, 6 times altogether to have 6 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. At the end of 6 rounds of single crochet, stitch count is still 30. Before we continue the next round, we're going to take a minute and insert some security eyes into the head. So the size I'm using is 10 millimeter. We are going to be inserting this between round 3 and 4 from where we've just finished. So there's the first round, second, third and fourth. So between round 3 and 4, I'm going to insert one of the eyes and keep about 4 to 5 stitches in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's where I'm going to insert this. So it goes in the fifth stitch. Once you're happy with the positioning, put the backing on. And then we'll get started on the next round. And for this, you are going to be working 3 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, second and third stitch marker in place. Follow this on with a decrease. So when we're working a decrease, you pull up a loop from the next stitch and the stitch after that, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. 1 and 2. Let's put our stitch marker back in place and follow these 2 single crochets on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next stitch and the stitch after that, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And there's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 12. We're now going to start the next round, and in this round again we're going to have the same combination, which is 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease, but this time we will only be able to fit this in this space 4 times. So let's work on this together. It's 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease, 2 more times, 1 single crochet and a decrease, and last time 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. This brings your stitch count to 8. We're going to now start on working on the body, and for this you are going to work a single crochet in our first stitch and put the stitch marker back in place first. And then we're going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. So that means that's an increase. So we're going to be working 8 increases in this round. Here's my second increase. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. Seventh, and my final increase number 8. There we go. And this brings our stitch count to 16. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker in place. Follow this single crochet on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. You should be able to repeat this combination 8 times altogether. And finish that off, and then fill this head up with fiber fill, and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker in place, follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 24 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 2 more times to have 3 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead, work 3 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back here. At the end of 3 rounds of single crochet, stitch count is still 24. And let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. Stitch marker back in place. And we're going to follow this on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochets, followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. But this time around, we're going to be working only in the back loops. So let's show you how to do this. Slip your hook in the middle of the stitch like this, which isolates the back loop only. So we're going to work our first single crochet and put a stitch marker on. Then follow this on with a decrease. Slip your hook in the back loop only. Pull up a loop and with the next stitch as well, back loop only. There are 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And just like this, you are going to continue repeating this process and make this combination 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease, and we're going to repeat that all the way around, remembering to work it only in the back loop. You will notice that there is a little line in the front, and that should be visible when you just catch the back loop. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, stitch count is 12. Now, as you can see, I've already gone ahead and stuffed this body up with fiber fill. So make sure you've done that before you start the next round, because in this round, we're going to try to close the gap off fully. So for this round, you're going to be working 6 decreases. Pull up a loop from the next stitch and the stitch after that, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. That's first one, second decrease, third decrease, fourth, fifth, and my decrease number 6. Once you've done that, you have 2 options. As you can see, there is a tiny little gap still left between the stitches. You can either use a darning needle to stitch this up, or you can work 1 or 2 more decreases to reduce the size of this hole even more. So there's my 1. And this is so tiny that I can slip my hook in the opposite stitch and work a slip stitch to fasten off and cover that gap. So I'm going to just snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch, pull this down to secure it in place. And there we are. Now, using my hook, I'm going to slip it in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, pull this little loop or the strand into the body and leave it in there. And there we go. That finishes the body and the head of this little teddy. Now onto the legs. And for this, let's start off by working a slip knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches and start working in a spiral. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round and work an increase in there. In this round, we will be working 6 increases. That's my first increase here. Increase number 2. Increase number 3, 4, 5, and my 6th one. Stitch count at this point should be 12. We're now going to start the next round, and we're going to be working 12 single crochets in a row, but only in the back loops. So slip your hook. If you can see the stitches, they're made with 2 strands. That makes a V shape. Slip your hook in the middle to isolate that stitch and work a single crochet. Now that's just worked in the back loop. I'm going to start using a stitch marker to identify the start of my rounds. I'm going to show you this again. Slip your hook in the middle of that stitch to isolate the back loop only. Here's your second single crochet, third, fourth, and just like this you're going to work your way all the way around and work 12 single crochets in a row in back loops only. Go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of one round of single crochets in the back loops only, your stitch count is still 12. We're now going to have another round of just single crochets, but this time we're catching the full stitch. Here's my first single crochet. Let's put the stitch marker back in place, and we're going to follow this on with 11 more to finish this round. Let's work on this together. And last one. Stitch count is still 12. We're going to now work our last and final round, and in this one we're going to be, let's stuff the tail in first, work 6 decreases. To do this you're going to pull up a loop from the first stitch and the next stitch, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's my first decrease, second decrease, third. I'm going to quickly fill this foot or the leg up with some fiber fill first and then carry on. I've got 3 decreases already worked in. And then we can top it up later. Decrease number 4. Five. And my final decrease number 6. And once you've done that, you're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch and snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail. Pull it out of the stitch, pull this down to secure this in place. And if this needs to be topped up at this point, you can certainly go ahead and do that. And there we are. And that finishes one of the legs. You're going to follow the same instructions and make another one of these legs. Now on to the arms, and for this let's grab our cream yarn and work a slip knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. Here's my 5th and my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, put on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap and start working in a spiral. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round and work a single crochet in there. We're going to follow the single crochet on with an increase in the next stitch. And that's your repeat for this round. We're going to be working 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase. One more time. 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase in the next stitch. Now this brings your stitch count to 9. We're going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Let's start using a stitch marker to make the stitch count easier. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in all of these stitches all the way around. So to finish this round you're going to need 9 single crochets in a row. And we're going to take a minute and turn this the right way around. And stitch count is still 9 at this point. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet and putting our stitch marker back in place. And again, we're going to have another round of just single crochets. And there we go. Stitch count is still 9. Let's stuff this arm with this tail because we're not going to be stuffing it with anything else. So we're going to just leave it empty like this. Start the next round by working a single crochet in the first stitch. Stitch marker in place. Follow this on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet, followed on with a decrease. Another time, 1 single crochet, followed on with a decrease. And there we go. Stitch count is 6 at this point. We're going to work our final round, and in this one we're going to be working 3 decreases. So here's my first decrease, second decrease, and my third decrease. Once you work this, you're going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch, and snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail out of the stitch, and pull this down to secure it in place. And there's one of the arms. You're going to follow the same instructions and make another one of these arms, and then meet me back here. Now onto the muzzle. Starting is exactly the same as all the other components. Slip knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap. And start round 2. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round and work your first single crochet there, going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. So there is an increase there. Going to be working 6 increases in this round. There's my second increase, third increase, fourth, fifth, sixth. 6 increases means you've got a total of 12 stitches. And let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker in place. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, we're going to need a total of 12 stitches. And there we go. Now that completes our muzzle. We're going to now work a slip stitch in the next stitch and snip this yarn off, leaving a tail which we will use to sew this onto the face. And put on this bit of yarn to tighten, and there we have it. There's the muzzle, now complete. Moving on to the ears now, and starting again the same way, slip knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. Here's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and my 6th one. Pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap. And now start the next round by working a single crochet in your first stitch, followed on with an increase. We're going to be repeating that 3 times to finish this round. So 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase in the next stitch. One more time. 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase in the next stitch. Stitch count at this point is 9. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. We can use a stitch marker if you wish to. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in all of these stitches all the way around. We have a total of 9 stitches, so we'll have 9 single crochets in this round here. And there we go. Now this brings us to the last and final round. Turn this the right way around, and we are going to now work 1 single crochet, followed on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Going to work this 3 times. 1 single crochet, followed on with a decrease, a single crochet, and a decrease. Now once you've done that, this brings your stitch count to 6. Work a slip knot or slip stitch in the next stitch like this, and that finishes the ear. Snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch, and pull this down to secure it in place. You can snip this yarn off or stuff it back into the ear like this. Either is fine. I'm going to do both, so snip it down to a smaller size and stuff it in. And there we go. We can press it in the center and it will naturally curve like this. And that's one of the ears. You're going to make 2 of these and then meet me back here. Now onto the heart, and for this let's grab our color of our choice and work a slip knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my 6th one right here. Pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between the stitches, and start working in a spiral. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round to work single crochet, first single crochet of round 2. Follow this on with an increase in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that combination 3 times. So it's 1 single crochet, followed on with an increase. 1 single crochet, followed on with another increase. Now this brings your stitch count to 9. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. We could use a stitch marker if you wish to. So follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in all of these stitches. In total, you're going to need 9 single crochets to finish this round. And last 2 left. And there we go. Now once you've finished that, going to turn this the right way around. Take the stitch marker off and work a slip stitch in the next stitch like this. Let's go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull it down to secure this in place. Now this is one of the round parts of the heart. You're going to make 2 of these, and I have already gone ahead and made this, but this time around we are not going to snip the yarn off and work a slip stitch. We're going to keep it connected. Once you've done that, you're going to connect these 2 together. So pause the video, make the second one as well, and then meet me back here. Once you're ready with the 2 bits completed, you are going to connect them together with a slip stitch. I would like you to do that in the same stitch as where you worked your slip stitch right at the end. This keeps it nice and neat. So work that slip stitch, and now these parts are connected. Going back into that same stitch to work our first single crochet. Stitch marker in place, We're now going to have a round of single crochets only, and we're going to work around this one and that one. In total you're going to have 18 single crochets. And there we go, that's my last stitch, and that's 18 single crochets. We are now going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker in place, and we're going to follow this single crochet on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and that's a repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. And now we are on the last decrease. There we go. Stitch count at this point is going to be 12 now. Take the stitch marker off and work a single crochet in our first stitch here. Let's put the stitch marker back in place. And we're going to follow that single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. Now to finish this round, you're going to need 12 single crochets in a row. Once we have done that, we're going to follow the same method one more time to have 2 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead, work 2 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back here. At the end of 2 rounds of single crochet, stitch count is still 12. We're now going to start the next round, but before we do that, that gap is quite small, so go ahead and fill this up with some fibre fill, and then you're going to continue the next round. I'm going to stuff this a little bit more. And then let's start the next round by working 6 decreases. So pull up a loop from the first and the second stitch, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's my first decrease. Second decrease. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And my 6th one. Once you worked your 6 decreases, make sure you've stuffed this heart up fully with fibre fill, because we're now going to work on closing this. We're going to work 3 decreases more. This is the last and final round to close this off and get that pointy effect. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, the third one might be a bit difficult, but we're going to see if we can fit that in. If you can't, then you just finish off with a slip stitch. So there we go, there's my 3rd and final one. And the gap is completely gone. I'm going to work a slip stitch in the next stitch. And let's snip this yarn off. Pull it out of the stitch, pull this down to secure this in place. Give this heart a little squeeze. Slip your hook in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch. Loop that yarn onto your hook and pull this in. And there we go. The heart is now complete. Now onto the assembly, and we're going to sew all of these components together. Let's start with the tail. So I'm going to find out where the front is, use the eyes as the indication, keep this right in the middle, and then turn it opposite so we can attach that directly at the back. When you're doing this, make sure that the stitch that you finished with is at the bottom and you're catching the stitch at, so just where we had the back loops only, this is where we're attaching it. And I've just got the position right. I'm going to double check. It's perfectly in line and in the middle. That's great. I'm going to now take a second to put some fiber fill into this space, into this little tail. And then we will sew it together. And there we go. So holding it with one hand, you're going to catch one stitch on the body, one stitch on this tail, one stitch on the body, one stitch on the tail, and just like this, you're going to make your way all the way around. Last stitch left, one stitch on the body and the last stitch of the tail. And once we've done that and made our way all the way around, I'm going to catch the last stitch one more time and create a loop with my thread. Slip the needle through that loop and pull this down gently, and this will create a knot in place, and that ties everything in place. Slip that needle back into that same stitch, guide it to go through some fiber fill and come out from another side of the body. Could be from anywhere. And wherever it comes out from, we're going to snip it off with our pair of scissors, and there we go. The tail is now attached. We're going to just give it a little massage so all of it retains its shape. Now that's complete. We are moving on to the feet. Go ahead and thread this part of the thread into your darning needle, and we are now going to attach the legs directly in the front, just like the tail. We're going to make sure that the stitch that we finished with is at the bottom, and we are going to use our front loops only again as guidance because that's where it's going to be sitting. I'm going to sew this in line with the eyes. However, it's going to be on the outside, so if I trace it down, the edge of the leg is going to be in line with the eye like this. So this is where I'm stitching it. So just like the tail, we're going to catch one stitch on the leg, one stitch on the body, and sew the two components together. I'm going to make my way all the way around. And just like before, when you're back to the beginning, you are going to go through that stitch one more time and create a loop with your thread. Slip your needle inside that loop, pull this down and gently pull it to create a knot in place. And once that is done, slip your needle back inside that stitch, guide it to go through some fiber fill, come out from another side of the body, and we can go ahead and snip this off now. And there we go. One of the legs is now attached. You're going to follow the same method and attach the other leg on as well, and then meet me back here. Legs are now on. Let's move on to the arms. We're going to thread that bit into the darning needle, hold the body sideways, and we're going to be attaching the edge of the arm with the edge of the leg like this, or it could be a stitch further up, that's fine, but it's going to be in line with that. So holding it in place, I am going to now catch one stitch on the body and that one stitch on the arm, and just go through those 2 stitches a few times to really secure it in place. And once you're happy with that connection, then you're going to create a loop by going through that first stitch again and slip your needle inside that loop, pull that strand down. You can repeat the process if you wish to. I'm going to take it further up and then repeat the process here, so it's really nice and secure. And once you're happy with that, slip that needle back into that same stitch, make it come out from another side, and let's go ahead and snip that off. And there we go. If something gets pulled in like it has here, slip your needle in or your hook in and pull that up, and that retains its shape. And just like this, go ahead and attach the other arm on as well, and then meet me back here. Arms are now on. Moving on to the next component now. Let's grab the ears. Make sure that the stitch that you finished with is on one side, and pinch the middle and it will curve gently. You are now going to attach these in line with the eyes in an angle. And once you've decided where you would like to attach it, hold it sideways like this. So I am attaching it 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds down. So the edge of the ear is on the 4th round. I'm going to catch one stitch on the head and secure the corner of the ear down first. And then we are just going to keep it straight and move up 1 round and attach it like shown. And once you've done that, you are going to catch one stitch on the top and go on the corner of the ear. Create a loop, slip your needle inside that loop, pull this to create a knot in place. And there we go. Slip that back into that same stitch, guide it to go through some fibre fill, come out from another side of the body, and you can snip that off from wherever it comes out from. I'm going to pull that up. And there we go. That's one of the ears on. You're going to follow the same instructions and attach the other one on as well, and then meet me back here. Ears are now on as well, and now we're moving on to the muzzle. Before we attach this, I've got this little plastic nose that I'm going to insert in this muzzle here. If you don't have one of these, you are going to embroider a black nose at the edge or the top part of this muzzle. And once we've done this, you are going to simply stuff this lightly with some fibre fill and grab the bear and attach this directly in the middle of the eyes. Position it. If you would like to use some pins, feel free to do so to hold it in the right place, and then sew it together just like the other components. One stitch from the go through one stitch on the body and then one stitch on the muzzle, and make your way all the way around. almost made my way all the way around. And when you get to the last stitch, and let's finish that off as well, catch one stitch on the muzzle, create a loop, slip your needle inside that loop and pull this down to create a knot in place. Slip that needle back into that stitch, guide it to go through some fiber fill, come out from another side of the head, pull it out and snip this yarn off now. And there we go. Let's grab the hook and reshape this. Give the whole head and the body a massage so the fiber fill gets distributed evenly. Now let's grab our darning needle, thread it with some black yarn, and we're going to just create a little eyeliner for this bear. So slip your needle from further away, make it come out from one stitch away from the eye, like this. Slip this in the front of the eye, guide it to go through some fiber fill and come out from the front of the other eye. Going to repeat that same process on this side. So we're going to catch one, insert the needle one stitch away from the eye here, and guide it to go through some fiber fill and come out from the starting point, like this. And once you've done that, you're going to just take these two strands, cut it shorter, and you're going to hold them in place and then pull to adjust where you want to position these lines. So the first one's perfect. Let's sort out this one as well. So while holding in place like this, if you pull, there you go, that sits perfectly. And now I'm going to, once this is perfectly done, I'm going to hold these two strands, tie them in a knot. Double knot is always preferred. And then we're going to use our hook, slip it in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, and loop those two bits on and pull them into the head. And let's leave that in there. Now if you wish to, you can make a little line in the front as well. I am going to just leave it the way it is. And we're going to now attach the heart. So let's grab the heart, make this bear hold the heart, and we're going to sew this in place. And to do this, you're going to thread your darning needle with some pink yarn. Let's take all of these fluffs off and give this all a massage. There we go. That's perfect. Now the heart goes right in the middle, and we're only going to sew just the edge of it on the hands. So these are the arms. I'm going to sew the top part of it on the hand. So I'm going to catch one stitch on the hand where I would like our heart to be attached. Pull this through and just go through that same stitch a couple of times. There we go. I'm happy with that. I'm going to now create a loop. Slip your needle through that loop to create a knot in place. And once that's done, use the same needle to make this go through some fiber fill and come out from the other side of this heart like this. Making sure we don't pull too much, because otherwise this is going to get scrunched up like that. So pull that apart and follow the same method on the other side as well. Catch just one stitch where you want the heart to be attached to the hand and go through the stitch a couple of times. And once you're happy with that, you're going to again create a loop, slip your needle inside that loop and pull this down to create a knot in place. Slip this back inside the heart, make it go through some fibre fill, come out from another side, pull this out and snip this off. Now either you can use your darning needle or a hook to get this one threaded in as well. I'm going to use my darning needle. Snip this shorter and thread it into your darning needle. Slip that into the heart. Wherever it comes out from, you're going to snip that off. And there we have it. Now from here, you're going to just reshape anything that we need to. And there we go. And now that completes our little project. I hope you enjoyed making this little bear for Valentine's Day. If you enjoyed making this with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.